This is what liberal tolerance looks like. We've got 4 or 5 of these. Logan, can we run the first one, please? So Ted Cruz posted his thoughts and prayers and well wishes, and one of the people responding to it said, "I wouldn't be so sad if you were next in line either." In other words, I'm glad Rush died, and hey, Ted Cruz, it'd be great if you're next. It's a tolerant, lovable liberal. Next up, Logan. Happy Death Day, Rush. Props to cancer. It really pulled through for us. The level of hate is just truly remarkable. I mean, this is somebody who hasn't done anything to whoever Mrs. James T. Kirk is. Redheaded Fury. Well, that's matches that. I mean, where's the hate coming from?
Well, look, I think all you need to know is look at, I already talked about Amy Coney Barrett. Look back then when Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, right? She's a liberal icon, right? As liberal as it gets. Yeah. And yet I was on Twitter a good amount of that day, and I was on social media, and conservatives were saying with very, very, very few exceptions, what a wonderful life that woman lived. I hope she rests in peace. We pray for her family. President Trump was legitimately shocked and really saddened when he heard about it for the first time. What does it say about just the difference between, I hate both sides, and what about, but what does it say about the difference between the one side, you have the left who jumps, every time a conservative dies, they jump on it and they make inappropriate, despicable remarks. And when a liberal person dies, conservatives respond in love and with prayers and with thoughts and with condolences. What does that say?
I think it just speaks to the difference in morality between the two parties. I think that conservatives on the whole are just a lot more gracious, and they want to be sure that their actions are reflective of a higher morality. And many conservatives are Christians, and I think that we want to express the sadness that it is when people don't come to Christ before they die, or the sadness that it is even when people do die and they leave behind loved ones. And I think that is just, that's a sentiment that's not common between conservatives and liberals a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people know they answer to someone higher. So when they're writing this stuff, they're not writing down, wow, we hope you rot in hell, or despicable things like that. They know they're answering to someone who is watching what they're doing and who wants them to love. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joe and I were talking earlier today about this idea that Jordan Peterson talks about from time to time, and he got it from Carl Jung, this idea that people don't have ideas. Ideas have people. And so you better be very careful what ideas you're letting into your life, because if you're not careful, they're going to be operating you. You're not going to be operating them. They'll be operating you like a puppet.
Right.
And as I looked at the responses, run the next one there, Logan, the one you've got queued up. I can see over here. I'm praying to Baphomet to cancel out your prayer. If you don't know that, that's the Baphomet. That's the statue that Satanists like to put up in state capitals and rival Ten Commandment monuments with, and those things. I think what has happened with a whole lot of these folks on the left is the idea of leftism has possessed them. They're no longer in control of the idea. The idea is in control of them, and animus has taken them over. And as we know, anything that stands in the way of leftism to the left is evil, is to be destroyed.
Even decency.
Even decency, because anything standing in the way of the left presumably is standing in the way of utopia. That's the idea, that eventually, if leftists got their way, they believed that you would usher in the new socialist man, the new Soviet man, and utopia would descend. And so somebody like Rush, who gets in the way of that, is then evil. He's standing between humanity and salvation. And I don't even know if these people realize what they're doing at this point, because they are so animus possessed. There are just not a lot of people out there you meet on the street who would say that.
No, but
right.
to your face.
If you say it behind Twitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's important to note also, we aren't just cherry picking some random tweets. We took 5 that we could find because that's all that we could find. this stuff was trending on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well,
this was widespread.
Hey, Logan, not the next one, but the next one. Can you bring that one in? The JPEG I sent you? If we have it, I want to show you this. Let's put that up there. So Joe's exactly right. One thing I noticed was trending after all of this started was hashtag Satan. Hashtag Satan. And why was that trending? Because people were likening Trump to Satan. That there's no rational explanation for that. This is a guy who raised millions and millions and millions of dollars to fight lymphoma. This is a guy who raised and gave millions of dollars to the was it the National Law Enforcement Fund? I can't recall. It's a charity like that.
You saying Trump or Limbaugh?
I'm sorry, Limbaugh.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're good.
This is somebody who sent his private plane to help kids who needed it. This is somebody who would pack the plane with presents and send them back to all of his family in Missouri. I mean, this is a guy who
Waitstaff $5,000.
Yeah, when he was going to be awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor a civilian can get. He couldn't use his plane. His niece was using it for her class trip to D.C. His own private plane he couldn't use. He had lent it out so some kids could go to D.C. on a school trip. This is a great guy. There's no explanation for this except an animated hatred of him.